Start with a moment of intense, silent eye contact with the camera. Before we step into this profound truth, I need you to do something crucial. Right now, in this moment, there is a weight you're carrying. A thought, a battle, a name, a silence that has been haunting you. I need you to release it. Before we begin, drop that thought in the comments. Just one word, one name, one feeling. Betrayal, doubt, silence, my peace, my crown. Let this be your act of release. Leave it there as your declaration that you are ready to receive what comes next. Then, subscribe. Subscribe, not just to a channel, but to this mission. Subscribe to this frequency of victory. By subscribing, you are not just watching, you are enlisting. You are telling the algorithm and the universe that you stand with this truth. You are strengthening this signal, making sure this voice reaches every silent fighter who needs it. And then, share this message. Share it immediately with one person who needs to hear these words today. Your share is not just a click, it's a lifeline. It's how we build this unbreakable community, how we amplify this reality and make it impossible to ignore. The chosen ones are gathering. This is our movement. Let them know you are here. Comments, subscribe, share. Do it now. Then, and only then, are you truly ready to begin. Welcome, chosen one. Let's begin. They were certain you were done, not merely suspected, not simply hoped. They were utterly convinced. They watched you go quiet. They watched you retreat, and they labeled it defeat. Some even laughed through the process. Sure, they were witnessing the final chapter of your story, but here is the truth that now unnerves them. Everything they used to try and break you only served to hone your edge. Every smear, every act of sabotage, every whispered lie generated the very pressure that compelled you to grow stronger. They never anticipated this, and that is the source of their fear. They believed the storm had finished you. They failed to realize the storm had finished them. Observe the atmosphere at this moment. It is quiet in a manner they cannot comprehend. It is the silence that settles after a battle when one side has been defeated. On the surface, they behave normally, but in private, they are revisiting every move they made against you, questioning how you remain standing. The very individuals who once ridiculed your patience now watch your every step like hawks, searching for a hint of vulnerability. But there is none to be found. Because this time, chosen one, you are not standing in a guessing game. You are standing in a field of victory. This is not imagination. This is the aftermath. And I wish to thank you for being here, for participating in this mission. This message is not solely for you. It is for every silent fighter who remained loyal when it would have been simpler to quit. Press the like button and subscribe right now as your method of sending this message back, amplifying this voice, rendering it impossible for them to disregard the truth that is emerging. Together, we strengthen the signal they attempted to jam, sending it back to the reality they cannot manage. You are no longer chasing proof. You are the proof. That is what frightens them. They can no longer point to your stillness and name it failure because the results are beginning to manifest in ways they cannot dispute. Jobs that seemed impossible suddenly become available. People who once dismissed you now emulate your style. Opportunities they tried to lock away are now unlocked by your name. This is not luck. This is accumulation. Every hour you spent in the dark was an hour spent building a foundation they could never perceive. Consider this. History is filled with such moments. Rosa Parks refused to relinquish her seat quietly, and a movement was born. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team before becoming a legend. Entire nations were written off as poor and powerless before they emerged as economic forces. This is what the universe does. It conceals the roots before it reveals the tree. And when the tree finally appears, it is already too robust to uproot. That is what is occurring for you right now. Silent seasons, peculiar warfare, delays that appeared to be denial. But what they failed to see was that you were not stuck. You were establishing roots, and now the shift has occurred. You may not feel it completely yet, but it is already yours. The war they thought they had won is already lost. The same mouths that swore you were finished now whisper, "How did they do it?" The same ones who mocked your stillness are spiraling from your sudden ascent. And let's be honest, if silence was your downfall, you would have been finished long ago. But silence was your weapon. They misinterpreted your patience for weakness. Now they are paying for that error. Chosen one, you are no longer waiting for delivery. You are the delivery. The victory is not pending, it is processed. It is already stamped, shipped, and signed. They cannot return it, they cannot cancel it, and they cannot stop watching as it arrives. This is the moment where the air changes, where the adversary realizes their entire campaign has failed. This is why you feel the calm. It is not emptiness, it is aftermath. It is not loneliness, it is elevation. It is not silence, it is power. So receive this message as a revelation, not just another speech. This is your reality. Whatever you did, it worked. You won. It is already yours. They threw dirt on you, but didn't realize you were a seed. Now they are choking on the forest you became. They tried to block your growth, but only constructed the walls that forced your roots deeper. And now, oh now, it is different. You are not hoping anymore. You are living the proof. And that proof, chosen one, is unstoppable. Prepare yourself, because in this message, we are not merely discussing winning. We are discussing the kind of comeback that forces even your enemies to question reality. This is their consequence, not your karma. This is their sleepless night, not your worry. And while they are trying to decipher how you survived, you are already advancing into the next chapter, stronger, freer, and untouchable. And now, chosen one, yes, you. Pause for a second and feel what surrounds you right now. This is not a warm-up. This is the aftermath of all you have endured. Whatever you did, it worked. You are standing in the center of proof, not promises. This is no longer theory. This is your reality unfolding. If you have been questioning whether this message is for you, it is. This is your sign, your confirmation, your moment to lean in. Before we go deeper, I want you to take a stand with me right here. Drop a victory in the comments if you can feel the shift. If you know in your core that you are not chasing anymore, you are claiming. Hit the like button and subscribe right now as your way of affirming, yes, this is me. This is mine. Together we are building a voice they cannot silence, a movement they cannot ignore. Stay with me until the very end of this message, because each step we are about to take will cause everything you have lived through to click into place. If you have made it this far, you are not just curious, you are ready. Let's step into it now. Number 1, they buried you to finish you, but you became the earthquake that fractured their entire plan. They set traps, whispered bets, and circled your name on their scoreboard, waiting for the instant you would break. Instead, you became the moment they broke. They did not merely doubt you, they invested in your collapse. They plotted it like a stock they believed would fail, waiting for the crash so they could point, laugh, and declare, "We knew it." They were not passive spectators, they were active gamblers in your downfall. They spread rumors, withheld help, sabotaged opportunities, thinking each stone thrown would finally strike its target. But what none of them anticipated was that every impact was becoming a brick in the fortress you were constructing. The more they tried to shrink you, the more space you created for yourself. The more they tried to bury you, the deeper your roots extended. And now, chosen one, the ground itself is trembling under their feet because the event they were awaiting, your destruction, never arrived. What arrived instead was your rise. At this point, you might be asking yourself, How do I know this applies to me? How can anyone be certain? Because this is a pattern. When your setbacks feel designed, when the betrayals align too perfectly, when the silence from people who once called you family becomes deafening, you are not imagining it. That is what a bet looks like. They are betting you will not last. They are betting you will fold, and the universe has a habit of making those bets backfire. Your pain became training. Your losses became lessons. You did not just endure the storm, you learned to navigate it like a map. That is not a coincidence. That is a skill they cannot replicate. They thought the chaos would crush you because that is what would have crushed them. They assumed your spirit operated like theirs, fragile, reactive, addicted to validation. They assumed if they cut off the applause, you would stop dancing. But your strength was never in the applause. It was in the discipline no one witnessed. While they mocked, you were mastering. While they were comfortable, you were intentionally uncomfortable. You were building the muscles of self-reliance, clarity, and resilience. That is why now, even in victory, you appear different. They do not recognize you because you are not the same person they attacked. You are not their target anymore. You are their mirror, reflecting everything they failed to become. And here is the sharp truth. Your heartbreak was never wasted. It became your handbook. Every betrayal became a blueprint. Every lonely night became a laboratory. You determined how to lead yourself through the dark with no map, no hand-holding, no guarantee. They wanted you weak. You became a strategist. They wanted you distracted. You became focused. They wanted you bitter. You became wise. All of this was invisible to them because they only comprehend noise, not stillness. They only understand power that announces itself. Yours was silent, quiet, surgical. By the time they realized what you were doing, it was too late. You had already won. Think of it like a chess game. They kept sacrificing pieces thinking you were reacting, but you were not playing the same game. You were building an entirely different board. They tried to corner you. You expanded the board. They tried to block your moves. You learned moves they had never seen. That is why they are staring now. That is why their whispers have transformed into questions. How did they survive that? How did they get here? They are not accustomed to a person winning without the usual cheats, noise, or shortcuts. They are used to people folding. You did not fold. You folded their plan back onto them. And chosen one, understand this. You did not just survive. You became sovereign over your own terrain. You became the architect of your own kingdom, brick by invisible brick. That is why your victories feel quiet but heavy. That is why your glow is different. It is not hype, it is weight. You are carrying the proof of what you built, and that is what is rattling them. They cannot dismiss it because it is not a lucky break they can explain away. It is a structure, and structures do not appear from nowhere. They are built. You built yours from the rubble they left you in. You might wonder, why didn't they stop when they saw me rising? Because they could not imagine you rising. Their entire strategy was built on the assumption you would quit. When you did not, their strategy collapsed. And here is where it becomes your power. You no longer require their recognition. You no longer require their permission. You have already crossed the line from needing to proving. That is what makes this victory permanent. It is not an event. It is a transformation. And now they are watching something they cannot touch. They are watching you live a reality they tried to block. They are hearing your name in rooms they tried to lock. They are seeing doors open that were bolted shut. This is not revenge. This is natural consequence. This is what happens when someone bets against a person the universe has been training in silence. They lose and you win every time. Not because of magic, because of process, because of persistence. Because while they were plotting, you were planting. While they were gossiping, you were growing. While they were betting, you were building. They buried you to end you. You became the earthquake that split their plan. You did not just climb out. You shattered the ceiling. And now your very existence is the evidence they were wrong. That is why you do not even have to announce it. Your glow is your announcement. Your peace is your announcement. Your results are your announcement. They will never admit it aloud, but their eyes do. Their behavior does, their silence does. So let this sink in. Whatever you did, it worked. You did not just win. You changed the game. You built a kingdom in the rubble and did it so silently they thought you were losing. Now they know. And the craziest part, you are just getting started. This is not the end of the story. This is the first chapter where you are no longer surviving. You are reigning. This is the part where the chosen one stops being a target and starts being a force. And if you have been wondering whether you deserve to stand here, whether you are allowed to feel proud, whether it is okay to feel like you have already won. Hear this, you are not imagining it. This is what earned victory feels like, quiet, heavy, unshakable. And every time they look at you now, they are looking at their own mistake because they did not just underestimate you. They built you. They forged you. They trained you without knowing it. They were betting on you breaking, but you did not just survive. You built an empire out of the ashes and it is already yours. Number 2, they tried to drag you into the mud, but you walked out without a stain. You did not win by matching their dirt. You won by refusing to lower yourself into it. Anyone can fight like the enemy. Few can rise untouched above them. Your silence was not weakness. It was strategy disguised as peace. They wanted you to become them so they could justify themselves. You refused, and that is why they lost twice. They could not stand your calm. They could not stand the way you did not flinch when they hurled their chaos at you. They thought the only way to win was to play dirty, to lie louder, to smear harder, to claw at your reputation until you cracked. They were not just hoping you would fight back like them. They needed you to. Because if you snapped, if you got down in the mud, then the blame could shift. Then they could point and say, see, they are no better than us. But chosen one, you starved them of that satisfaction. You did not mirror their ugliness. You did not let their poison become your reflection. And that restraint, that is the real victory. Imagine this, a boxer in the ring, taunted round after round. The opponent spits, cheats, elbows illegally. The crowd boos. But you do not throw wild punches. You do not swing reckless. You stand firm, disciplined, guarding your energy, letting them burn themselves out. By the end, they are the ones red-faced and out of breath, and you are the one with your hand raised. That is what happened in your life. They punched dirty, you stayed clean, and when the smoke cleared, you were still standing with dignity intact. Now I know what you might be asking. Does that not make me look weak? Did my silence not give them more power? No, think carefully. Weakness would have been snapping back on their level. Weakness would have been allowing their games to dictate your moves. What you did was strength under control. You mastered restraint in the middle of fire, and that is a power most people will never understand. Their aggression was predictable. Your composure was not. That is why they could not figure you out. That is why they are still circling, replaying the battle, wondering how you stayed so untouchable. Let's be honest. If you had clapped back, they would have twisted it. If you had exposed them, they would have played the victim. If you had fought fire with fire, you would have been burned alongside them. That was the trap, but you saw it. You knew their goal was not just to fight you. It was to transform you into them. And you refused. That is why you won. Think of it like walking through mud in white clothes. They expected you to wrestle, to roll around, to come out looking as filthy as they do. But you did not. You walked carefully, deliberately, step by step. And when you emerged spotless, it was not just survival. It was a message. They saw it. They know it. And it burns them. Here is a fact most do not like to admit. Growth is louder than any clapback. While they obsessed over tearing you down, you obsessed over building yourself up. They chased gossip. You chased purpose. They fought for attention. You fought for elevation. That is why their story ends in bitterness, while yours continues in brilliance. They thought your refusal to fight was passivity. In reality, it was calculation. You were observing, learning who was loyal, who was fake, who was temporary. You let their masks slip on their own, and when the time came, you stepped out of the way and let consequence walk in like an invited guest. Imagine this, a house set on fire by its owners. They laugh as the flames rise, thinking the smoke will suffocate you too. But instead of running inside to fight them, you step back. You let them burn their own house down while you build yours across the street. And when the ashes settle, they are left staring at your windows lit with warmth while they sit in rubble. That is the difference between their choices and yours. And let me address the question some of you might whisper inside. Why did they not stop when they saw I was not playing their game? Because they could not. People addicted to chaos need reactions to feel alive. Your refusal to feed them left them starving. That is why they doubled down. That is why they tried harder. They thought persistence could wear you down. But what wore down instead was their own mask. You watched them unravel, and that unraveling is proof you did the right thing. Chosen one, you did not just win, you outclassed. You did not just rise, you rose untouched. You did not just get ahead. You got ahead without ever sacrificing who you are. And that is the kind of victory no one can erase. Because success built on lies can collapse. Success built on schemes can backfire. But success built on integrity endures. That terrifies them. They are used to seeing people compromise. They are used to watching enemies turn into mirror images of one another. But you broke the cycle. You did not just resist, you transformed. You showed them a kind of strength they cannot calculate. Discipline, grace, restraint. And now every time they see you, they are not just looking at a person they could not break. They are looking at a standard they will never reach. Imagine this: a diamond and a piece of glass, both tossed into the dirt. The glass scratches, cracks, looks dull. The diamond, it stays. You wash it off. It shines brighter than before. That is you. They mistook you for glass. They threw you around like something fragile, but you were a diamond all along. And now with the dirt brushed off, they see it too. So hear me clearly. The victory is not just that you survived. The victory is that you survived with your name, your peace, your energy, and your dignity intact. You did not have to lie, cheat, or destroy someone else to get here. You did not have to become what hurt you. You did not have to play their game. You built your win on a foundation they can never touch. And that is why it is already yours. Because while they were trying to win a petty battle, you inherited the war. While they were scrambling for short-term victories, you were becoming the kind of person who could hold long-term power. And now you stand here, calm, solid, unshaken. No comeback is louder than quiet integrity. No revenge is sweeter than still having your character intact. And no proof is stronger than the life you are living right now. That is why they lost Chosen One. Not because you fought harder, but because you refused to become them. Number 3, they mistook your quiet season for defeat, but you were being crowned where they could not see. Silence is not stagnation. It is where kings and queens are crowned without an audience. They saw you pause and called it failure. They watched you pull back and whispered you were finished. They looked at your stillness and assumed you were stuck. But Chosen One, what they could not see was that you were not in a holding cell. You were in a war room. You were not being ignored. You were being instructed. They misread the quiet because they have never built anything real in silence. They're addicted to noise, to rushing, to clapping hands on empty victories. You, on the other hand, were busy getting crowned where cameras could not reach. Imagine a seed underground. No movement, no sound, no applause. From the outside, it looks like nothing. But in that darkness, roots are breaking, spreading, strengthening. That was you. While they were chasing attention, you were laying foundations. While they were sprinting toward recognition, you were aligning your heart, your mindset, your boundaries. That is why your rise now looks sudden. It is not sudden. It is scheduled. You might be asking, did the delay mean I missed my chance? No. A blessing given too early becomes a burden. The universe was holding movement until you were ready to carry it without breaking. That is why your drive did not die. It sharpened. You stopped fighting battles that were not yours. Stopped forcing doors that were not built for you. Stopped chasing what was not aligned. You became, and now everything they thought you missed is catching up to you. Doors swing open, not because you begged, but because you are ready. Opportunities that once ignored you now orbit you. People who doubted you now study you. They are starting to realize you were not out of the game. You are the game. That is why it worked. You stopped watching the clock and started trusting the process. You honored the root instead of rushing the fruit. And now the shift is visible. Whatever they thought about you, they were wrong. The delay did not deny you, it defined you. Number 4, you walked through fire without begging for water. And that is why they fear you. Pain was supposed to be your prison, but you turned it into your training ground. Suffering breaks the shallow. It shapes the chosen. They were waiting for your breakdown like it was entertainment. They thought the betrayals, the losses, the nights of silence would reduce you to ashes. They expected a public collapse, a spectacle they could point at and say, "See, I knew they could not handle it." But you did not give them that show. You went through hell, but you did not drag an audience into it. No pity posts, no desperate pleas, no performance of suffering. You carried it in silence, and that silence became your strength. Imagine a boxer bleeding in the corner. The crowd screams for him to quit, but instead of throwing in the towel, he steadies his breath, wipes his own blood, and keeps swinging. That was you. You felt every cut, heard every lie, endured every betrayal, and yet you decided not to fold. That decision alone made you unstoppable. You might wonder, does hiding my pain mean I buried it? No, the truth is you did not skip steps. You did not numb it, and you did not fake heal. You sat with it. You faced it. You studied your scars until they turned into lessons. That is why you are not bitter now. You did the hard work others avoid. While they mocked you, you rebuilt yourself piece by piece with no help, no spotlight, no applause. And here is what terrifies them. You did not beg for comfort. You became your own comfort. You did not wait for rescue. You became your own rescuer. That is why today when they look at you, they do not see wounds. They see the glow that suffering carved into you. That is why it worked, because you did not let pain become your identity. You turned it into your turning point. They tried to bury you in agony, but you came out sharper, stronger, and untouchable. You did not suffer in vain. You suffered with purpose, and that purpose became the proof. Number 5, you never swung back. Elevation was the knockout punch. Revenge is not loud. It is watching them choke on the truth you never had to speak. The highest form of clapback is becoming untouchable. They expected fireworks. They expected you to lash out, expose them, rant online, or drag their names through the mud the way they did to you. They waited for cryptic posts, screenshots, angry words, something they could twist into evidence against you. But you gave them nothing. Not because you did not feel the hurt, but because you knew real revenge is not noise. Real revenge is survival. Real revenge is success. And chosen one, you chose elevation. Imagine a snake striking at your heel, desperate to draw blood. Most people would stomp back, but instead you climbed higher until it could not reach you. That was your strategy. You refused to wrestle in the mud because you knew mud ruins both fighters. While they slung dirt, you were building stairs. While they shouted, you were rising. That is why they look exhausted now. They have been shadowboxing lies while you are standing in clear daylight. And you might ask, does silence not make me look weak? Absolutely not. Silence is discipline, and discipline is strength. Your refusal to react did not make you passive. It made you untouchable. The universe handled the exposure you did not need to orchestrate. The same mouths that lied about you are now fumbling to keep up the fake versions of themselves. Truth does not need a lawyer. It just needs time. Here is the brutal fact. You could have destroyed them. You had the evidence, the words, the receipts. But instead of torching the battlefield, you walked off it. That choice separated you from them forever. Because while they were clawing at your image, you were building your reality. And reality always wins over rumor. Now your glow is the explanation. Your peace is the proof. Your growth is the clapback. That is why you won. Not because you fought harder, but because you rose higher. You did not need revenge. You needed time, growth, and elevation. And once those three lined up, everything they tried to bury came into the light without you saying a word. Number 6, they thought you were slipping, but you were following a strategy too advanced for them to decode. To the untrained eye, wisdom looks like weakness, and discipline looks like defeat. Silence confuses the loud, but it protects the powerful. From the outside, it looked like you were fading. You were not posting as much. You were not showing up in every room. You were quieter, more distant, harder to read. And to them, that was proof something was wrong. They whispered, "See, they are losing it. They are slipping." But chosen one, nothing could be further from the truth. You were not falling off. You were falling in line with a bigger strategy. And here is the part they will never admit. The reason they could not recognize it is because it was not their kind of strategy. It was not obvious. It was not loud. It was not desperate. Imagine a chess master pausing before the final move. To amateurs watching, the stillness looks like hesitation. But to those who understand the game, it is the calm before checkmate. That was you. You had to pull back. Not because you were weak, but because you were protecting something valuable. Every step had to be precise. Every boundary had to be set with care. You were not hiding. You were calculating. And you might ask yourself, why did it look so strange to them? Because people who live off formulas and shortcuts cannot comprehend patience. To them, stillness means loss. To you, stillness meant alignment. You did not chase noise. You did not fight for attention. You chose silence over spectacle, boundaries over approval, and wisdom over recklessness. Now they are shocked because the results do not match their logic. You did not beg for the spotlight, yet doors are opening. You did not hustle for their validation, yet opportunities are finding you. They cannot explain it. And that is exactly the point. Strategy is not supposed to be obvious to the uninitiated. That is why it worked. Because while they thought you were fading, you were actually leveling up. You did not need their formulas. You followed a path designed for you. And now the outcome is rewriting their definition of success. They thought you were slipping. In reality, you were ascending beyond their reach. Number 7, your insight was the silent blade that cut through every trap. They tried to outthink you in the dark, but you had already mapped the room. Discernment is not loud. It is the weapon invisible until it strikes. They thought they were running circles around you, They whispered lies, twisted stories, baited you with fake kindness, set emotional traps designed to pull you off balance. In their minds, they were 10 steps ahead, but chosen one, they never saw your real weapon. While they were playing games in the open, you were reading them in silence. Your discernment was the blade they did not know existed, sharp, quiet, and precise. Imagine a hunter thinking they are stalking prey only to realize the prey has been watching them from above the entire time. That is you. They assumed you were reacting on instinct. They assumed you needed proof. But you were already reading intentions before words left their mouths. You caught shifts mid-smile. You walked away not because you were scared, but because you had already seen the end of the story. That is not fear. That is strategy. And you might ask yourself, how did I know? Because once you have been burned enough, your inner radar sharpens. You were not guessing. You were learning. You were not paranoid. You were prepared. That is why their traps never worked. It was not luck. It was awareness. They expected you to bite back. You gave them silence. They expected drama. You gave them distance. They expected weakness. You gave them wisdom. And while they were wearing themselves out trying to provoke you, you were moving higher in silence. This is what threw them off most. You did not need to expose them. You let them expose themselves. You observed, adjusted, and elevated without warning. By the time they realized they could not outsmart you, you were already gone, unbothered, unreachable, victorious. That is why you kept winning even when you looked quiet. You were never behind. You were never blind. You were just precise. Number 8, the flames that should have killed you became the forge that crowned you. Your fire does not just burn, it reveals what cannot be destroyed. They threw you into the blaze to watch you crumble, but you walked out wearing armor. They expected you to melt under the heat. They counted on heartbreak to hollow you out, betrayal to finish you off, and pressure to snap you in half. And truth be told, there were nights it almost did. But instead of being reduced to ash, you came out refined, harder, sharper. You did not just survive the fire, you became fireproof. Imagine gold in a furnace. To the untrained eye, it looks like it is being destroyed. Flames roar, impurities rise, the shape shifts. But what is really happening? The gold is being purified. That was you. Every attack, every lonely night, every mental war. It was not the end. It was the forge. They thought the fire was punishment. In reality, it was preparation. You might ask yourself, why did it not break me like it breaks others? Because you did not run from it. You faced it. You processed it. You let the pain rewire you instead of define you. That is why storms that once left you crumbling now barely shake you. The buttons they used to press do not even work anymore. They are still dealing with the memory of your old self, not realizing you have been upgraded through fire. Now you carry a calm they cannot comprehend. They call it pride, but it is wisdom. They call it arrogance, but it is clarity. You are not numb. You are not cold. You are simply unshakable. Because once you have seen the worst darkness, the shadows do not scare you anymore. And here is the irony. The very fire meant to consume you ended up crowning you. What was supposed to be your downfall became your coronation. That is why you win now effortlessly, because you are not fragile. You are forged. No weapon, no rumor, no betrayal can dent what has already been through the flames and survived. You are fireproof, and that is why they lost. Number 9, they tried to bury you in shame, but you built your empire from that soil. Humiliation does not destroy the chosen. It chisels them into who they were meant to be. They mocked you for stumbling, not realizing you were planting your foundation in silence. They thought their disrespect would break you. They thought exclusion, gossip, and mockery would crush your spirit and make you crawl back, begging for approval. And yes, it stung. It cut deep. It left bruises nobody could see. But instead of letting humiliation poison you, you turned it into your teacher. You did not let the shame kill your worth. You let it strip away everything false, ego, people-pleasing, the mask of control. You were forced to stand naked in your own truth. And that is exactly where you found your real strength. Imagine a seed forced into the dirt, buried, pressed, surrounded by darkness. To most, it looks like an ending. But for the seed, it is the beginning of growth. That was you. What they thought was burial was actually planting. You sat with the humiliation not to be crushed by it, but to grow through it. And you might ask, why did it not harden me like it does others? Because you made a different choice. Most people let shame calcify into bitterness. You let it soften the right places, not into weakness, but into depth. You stopped chasing applause. You stopped performing for acceptance. You stopped bleeding energy on proving yourself. Instead, you took every rejection, every disappointment, every sneer, and laid it down like bricks, quietly, steadily, until an empire started rising where they swore you were finished. This is why your victory hits differently. It is not loud revenge. It is not petty clapbacks. It is the calm authority of someone who built peace out of chaos. If you had fought back from pride, you might have won a moment. But because you let it humble you, you won a lifetime. That is why this blessing is permanent. It is not built on ego. It is built on evolution. And now they are stunned. They thought they buried you in humiliation. They did not realize they were handing you the soil to construct something untouchable. The empire you walk in now carries their fingerprints, not because they built it, but because their cruelty became your cornerstone. Number 10, you stopped knocking. You became the door they cannot ignore. When you become the key, you do not beg for entry. The locks beg for you. Access is not forced when your presence is the password. They expected you to beg. They thought you would hustle endlessly for validation, force your way into rooms, manipulate, perform, compromise just to get noticed. That is how they move, chasing applause like it is oxygen. But you, chosen one, refused to play that game. You did not force your way into circles that did not value you. You focused on alignment. You did the work in silence. You healed, you grew, you recalibrated. And that inner transformation did what begging never could. It made you magnetic. Imagine this. While others are pounding on locked doors, desperate for access, you are becoming the architect who builds a house so powerful the doors start swinging open on their own. That is you. You did not have to demand space. Your presence created it. You did not need to convince anyone. The weight of who you have become did the convincing for you. And maybe you wonder, how did my quiet work start echoing so loudly? Because when you are aligned, you carry a frequency the world cannot ignore. That is why rooms are whispering your name. That is why people look twice when you walk in. They do not see the years of rewiring, the nights of reflection, the choices that hardened your foundation. But they feel it. They feel the shift when you show up. You stopped chasing doors that were not yours. You stopped wasting energy on spaces that did not match your worth. And in that stillness, you became the door. Now opportunities do not just open, they are drawn to you. People who once dismissed you are circling back. But this time, you are not desperate. You are discerning. You know exactly who you are. And that is the kind of authority no platform can manufacture. That is why this season is untouchable. You did not force it. You became it. You are the key. You are the door. You are the reason the room even matters now. And no lock, no gatekeeper, no delay can keep what you have become from being recognized. Number 11, you outgrew applause. Now you walk in authority they cannot revoke. Clapping hands fade. Rooted power does not. Validation is rented. Authority is owned. You stopped craving the crowd. You stopped measuring your worth by how many eyes were on you or how many voices were cheering. You realized the most fragile foundation you could ever stand on is applause. Because applause shifts, people flip, and public opinion is always up for sale to the highest bidder. That is why you stepped back. Not because you were fading, but because you were being lifted into a different league. Think about it. Validation is like smoke. It looks real until you reach for it, and then it slips through your fingers. But authority, true authority, that is forged in storms, in setbacks, in nights where you had nothing left but still did not fold. Authority is born in silence, strengthened in pain, and proven in endurance. That is why no one can hand it to you, and no one can strip it away. They did not understand your silence. They thought you disappeared, gave up, or had nothing going on. But what they could not see was the elevation happening behind closed doors. You were not being overlooked. You were being prepared. While they were chasing likes, you were chasing depth. While they were auditioning for approval, you were being appointed in private. And here is the shift. You no longer explain yourself. You do not need to defend your process. You are not desperate to fit into rooms that cannot contain you. You are not chasing relevance. You are rooted in reality. The confidence you carry does not come from who sees you. It comes from who you have become. That is why pressure does not crush you now. That is why noise does not distract you. Authority is not loud. Authority does not beg. Authority does not seek validation. It walks into a room and shifts the air without saying a word. And that is exactly what you have become. While others were addicted to applause, you were being crowned with something untouchable. Now they cannot revoke it. They cannot vote it away. They cannot fake it because what you carry is not borrowed. It is yours. Number 12, you did not just survive the process. You turned it into your blueprint. Endurance is survival. Mastery is transformation. The same fire that broke others became the classroom where you earned your crown. Most people stumble through the process half asleep. They complain, compare, and collapse. They see delays as punishments, disappointments as failures, and detours as dead ends. But you, chosen one, you did something rare. You leaned in. You studied every setback like it was a textbook. You paid attention to the lessons hidden inside every closed door, every betrayal, every lonely night. You were not just enduring the process, you were mastering it. Imagine a sculptor chipping away at stone. To outsiders, it looks like destruction, like wasted effort. But the sculptor sees what is beneath the surface. That is what you did. Life kept chipping at you. And instead of breaking, you paid attention to what was being revealed. You let the fire strip away false identities. You let the silence train your patience. You let the waiting season strengthen your discernment. And maybe you have asked yourself, why did it take so long? Why so much pain? Because preparation is not punishment. It is protection. If the blessing had come too soon, it might have destroyed you. But by staying in the furnace, you became strong enough to carry it. You stopped asking, why me? And started asking, what is this teaching me? That shift turned your trials into training. While others were distracted, you were sharpening while they numbed their pain. You sat with yours until it became wisdom. You broke cycles. You healed wounds. You upgraded your mindset piece by piece. That is not surviving. That is mastery. Now people are stunned. They look at you and wonder how you are so calm, so grounded, so unshakable. The answer is simple. You did the work. You did not take shortcuts. You did not fake the healing. You respected the process even when it burned. And because of that, your wins will not be temporary. That is why it worked. Because you did not just crawl out of the fire. You came out carrying the blueprint. You are not only prepared to receive what is yours, you are equipped to protect it, sustain it, and lead with it. They thought you would fold in the waiting. Instead, you built an empire inside it. Number 13. Letting go was the masterstroke they mistook for weakness. Control is fragile. Alignment is unbreakable. What they called weakness was the quiet genius of surrender. They thought your calm meant defeat. They mistook your silence for fear, your patience for passivity, your surrender for weakness. But chosen one, what they did not understand is that letting go was not you quitting. It was you mastering the art of alignment. While they were burning themselves out, forcing doors that were not theirs, you were sitting in clarity, waiting for the locks that recognized your key. That was not laziness, that was strategy. Imagine someone trying to push a river upstream. The more they strain, the more exhausted they get, and still the current wins. Now picture yourself not fighting the water, but flowing with it. That is why things started to move in your favor, not because you begged or forced, but because you surrendered to the current that was already carrying you where you belonged. And maybe you have asked, why did I choose surrender when everyone else was chasing so hard? Because you learned the difference between glitter and gold. You realized that forcing things only creates fractures. You understood that what is truly yours will not need manipulation, noise, or panic. That kind of wisdom looks insane to people addicted to control, but it is the very reason you are winning now. They do not understand how you stayed calm when life looked like it was collapsing. They do not get how you knew to wait, to stay still, to trust the timing. They call it luck, but it was not luck. It was insight. It was discipline. It was choosing alignment over urgency, peace over panic. That is not weakness. That is intelligence at its highest form. Now, the same ones who laughed at your surrender are watching doors open that cannot be explained. Opportunities are finding you. Alignments are falling into place. Not forced, not fake, real. And they are stunned because while they were exhausting themselves for crumbs, you were preparing to inherit the feast. That is why it worked. Because you did not just fight harder, you grew wiser. You did not just chase, you became magnetic. You did not force the game. You rewrote the rules. And now the victory is not just yours for a moment. It is yours forever. And now, chosen one, we have come full circle. Whatever they tried, whatever they plotted, it all backfired because your growth outlasted their games. You did not just win, you became the proof that the universe crowns those who refuse to fold. This is not luck. This is alignment, strategy, and undeniable victory. If this message resonated with you, hit that like button, subscribe for more, and drop the number 77 in the comments so I know you are walking in this same energy. Share this with someone who needs the reminder. Whatever they did, it did not work. You already won.